Hello and welcome to today's podcast. I'm Verity, Early Years Advisor, and today we're talking about something incredibly exciting and important for children, families and educators across the country, the National Year of Reading 2026. Joining me is Isabelle, our lead Early Years Advisor at the City of London. Welcome, Isabelle.
Thank you, Verity. It's great to be here and to talk about such an important topic.
Let's start with the basics. What exactly is the National Year of Reading 2026?
Well, the National Year of Reading 2026 is a major government-backed campaign led by the Department for Education and delivered in partnership with the National Literacy Trust. The campaign has been launched in response to concern about declining levels of reading for pleasure across the UK. Its central message is go all in on your passions. The idea is that reading can help people explore and enjoy the things they already love, whether that's sports, animals, gaming, cooking, music, or anything else. Importantly, the campaign recognizes that reading comes in many forms: books, comics, magazines, blogs, and also audiobooks. The goal is to improve literacy level, support well-being, and create a stronger reading culture, particularly among children, young people, and families who may face barriers to accessing books and reading opportunities.
Excellent. And why is reading such a key focus for young children, particularly those under 5?
Well, the early years are absolutely crucial for language and literacy development. Long before children can read independently, they're developing the skills that will support reading later on. When young children listen to stories, to songs and rhyme, they're building vocabulary, developing their understanding of language and learning how stories work. Reading together also support attention, imagination, communication skill, and emotional development. Perhaps more importantly, children who have positive experiences of books and stories from an early age are more likely to see reading as something enjoyable rather than something they simply have to do at school.
So the campaign encourages everyone to get involved. What are some simple ways that families can participate?
Well, the good news is that getting involved doesn't need to be complicated. As a family, you can read together every day, even if it's only for 5 or 10 minutes. You can visit your local library regularly. You can borrow books for free there. You can share stories, poems, songs, rhyme. You can listen to audiobooks during a car journey or at bedtime. You can let children choose a book that they like and that is linked to their interest. And then you can take part in reading events organized by school, libraries, and different community groups around your home. The campaign is really about making reading visible, enjoyable, and part of everyday life.
Many parents are keen to know how they can support their child's early reading development at home. What would be your top tips?
Well, it's important to remember that learning to read starts long before children can recognize words on a page. Now, I'm going to share a few top tips, but I'm sure people will have many more they can think of. Now, the first one is read together every day. Sharing books daily is one of the most powerful things parents can do. It doesn't have to be a long session. Even 5 or 10 minutes every day can make a huge difference to a child's further academic reading. Talk about the pictures, ask questions, and enjoy the story together. Very importantly, you have to make reading fun. Children learn best when they engage and having fun. You can use funny voices, act out stories, and encourage children to join in with repeated phrases. If reading feels enjoyable, children are much more likely to develop a lifelong love of books. Now, another top tip is to talk and talk some more. Language development is a foundation of reading. Have conversations throughout the day. Describe what you're doing. Ask questions and encourage your child to share their thoughts, ideas, and feelings. The more words children hear and use, the stronger their literacy foundations become. Now, another important tip is to sing songs and share rhymes. Nursery rhymes, songs, and word games help children hear and recognize sounds in language. Skills such as rhyming, clapping syllables, and identifying sounds are all important precursors to reading. Now remember to follow your child's interest. If your child loves dinosaurs, princesses, animals, or football, choose books related to those interests. Children are often more motivated to engage with reading when the content connects to what they already enjoy. So one thing that we often forget is children have to see us, the adult, reading. Children learn by watching the adults around them. So when they see their parents, carer, and family members reading books, newspaper, recipes, or magazine, they begin to understand that reading has a purpose, and then they will value it in everyday life. So another example you can have is looking at print around you. Look at signs, shop logos, road signs, food packaging, and labels. This everyday reading opportunity helps children recognize that print is all around them. But remember, don't rush the process. This is not a race. Every child develops at their own pace. The aim in the early years is not to push children to read before they're ready, but to build strong language skills, confidence, and enjoyment. A positive attitude towards reading is one of the greatest gifts we can give to young children.
And what message would you give to the early years practitioners during the National Year of Reading?
Well, I would encourage practitioners to celebrate reading in as many ways as possible. So create inviting book areas. Think about sharing high-quality stories every day. Involve families in reading activities and make books accessible throughout your setting. So not just in the book area, but also with the cars, the train, or in your role play. We know that when children see reading as joyful, social, and a meaningful experience, they are more likely to become enthusiastic readers. This year presents a fantastic opportunity for settings to work in partnership with families and their communities to build a culture of reading that extends beyond just the setting and the classroom.
That's fantastic, Isabelle. But before we finish, I'd just love to know, what book are you reading at the moment?
Well, at the moment, I'm actually reading a book in French about what happened after the loss of someone important in the family and how it affects parents and also children. It's a sweet but powerful and a little bit sad story. So I think it's a great reminder that reading for pleasure can be enjoyable, whether you're under 5, you're at primary school, secondary school, or you're an adult. I love reading. As someone who works in the early years, I always try to make time for reading, not just professionally, but for pleasure too. I think it's important that children see the adults around them enjoying reading, because it helps reinforce the message that reading is something we can all enjoy throughout our lives.
That's good to hear. And it certainly fits with the message of the National Year of Reading, that reading can be a source of enjoyment, inspiration, and lifelong learning.
Absolutely. Whether it's a novel, an audiobook, a magazine, or a favorite children's story, every reading experience counts. It's the stories that make the love of reading come to life.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Isabelle, and thank you to everyone who listens. We hope you've been inspired to pick up a book, share a story, and get involved in the National Year of Reading 2026. And remember, every story shared, every rhyme sung, and every book enjoyed helps build strong foundations for children's learning and development. Until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.